What up, people? Football Black here, and I got my boy Minyon next to me. This is halftime. The score is 13-9?
Yeah.
All right, we're at halftime of the Cowboys-Giants game. Minyon,
Hey,
go.
what's up, guys? Hey, sports fans. Here we go with the Rant, sports and fitness. Hey, guys, what do you think? What's going on with these Cowboys? I can already tell you, Ezekiel Elliott, not a ground and pound back. I think he's better on the outside. There's some things on defense that need to be taken care of right now as we speak.
More notably, apparently you can run up the middle on the Cowboys.
Yes, and you can throw over the top. So we have some issues that need to be taken care of. That's part of the reason why, if you notice on the Rant where I'm telling you guys, hey, I'm not sold with them yet. And I'm not sold with them. There's a bunch of shaky things that I just can't get past just by looking at this right now. Obviously, I mean, it's irritating me. It really is. And my friend Chris can attest to this. Like, I'm passionate, okay? And you can hear how angry I am right now. It'll be better later. I promise.
Dax, 14 of 19.
Yes, 14 of 19.
134 yards. What I've noticed is there's not a lot of stretch in the field.
Right.
There was a controversial non-catch that Dez Bryant had where everybody thought it was a catch.
Right.
My neighbors thought it was a catch.
I was fooled, guys.
I
was fooled. I got irritated right off the bat. But, hey, looking back at it in slow motion.
As we're watching it now, and yeah.
That was a good call by the ref. It really was a good call. I mean, what can you say? I mean, he tried.
He said he tried.
He tried, man.
The keys to the game. We did have a pre-keys to the game type thing. I don't know if I'm going to combine it because of the way it sounded on the recording. But keys to the game was let's make Eli look stupid. Let Dax and defensively let's make Eli look stupid. Let's this is gonna be a coming out party for Ezekiel Elliott. I thought it really hasn't yet because they keep running him up the middle and it's not working.
No, it's not.
Which when he played for when he played for Ohio State, he really wasn't that type of dude. He caught the ball out of the backfield. They lined him up in the slot. They need to do the same. Because if you keep asking him to do that, you don't really. He doesn't.
That leads to injury because he's not that kind of running back.
The guy that you need to have run those type of plays is Alfred Morris.
Correct. I'd agree with you on that one. Alfred Morris. Even though sometimes he has two left feet, McFadden. I know that they're trying to come up with a plan for him.
I haven't seen McFadden today. They've been trying to force feed Ezekiel Elliott, and they've been giving Alfred Morris the majority of the rest of the snaps. Mm-hmm. And I saw Dunbar a couple of snaps. Defensively, they're not deep enough to keep doing what they're doing. Offensively, the Cowboys are gonna have to score.
Right.
Like
they need to. They can't
take the Cubs off of Dax and score.
Well, they're going to have to really defensively. The corners is what's suspect to me because if you play the ball versus the receiver, things get better. They do. If you play the ball versus the receiver. Yeah, I mean it's really basic.
He's talking about the last touchdown.
The last touchdown on it,
where the guy was not looking for.
He wasn't looking for the ball.
Was not looking for the ball at all.
No,
he was playing the receiver, and the receiver I'm just gonna jump over you now.
We're just gonna play the receiver, and we're gonna hope that he doesn't make the catch.
Right.
I don't see where the ball is coming, but he does. That was perfect for me.
I would just jump up and catch it now.
Right. Exactly. So it's fundamentals. I know it's the first game of the season, and there's some shaky moments. But at the same time, we can't have BGs through the whole game. BGs, I mean bubble guts. You got to get that out. It's time. It's time to play. You're playing for the playoffs. You're playing for the trophy. That's what it is.
Dave Chappelle reference.
Yes, exactly. One of my favorite comedians.
There it is.
Yes, and you know, as far as being a Dallas fan, you know, I am a Dallas fan. You know, you guys know I bleed blue and silver. But at the same time, I'm truthfully honest with them. I'm truthfully honest with you guys about it. Is that they are not playing well. They're not. And right now, I don't see.
They're playing cautious, and the defense.
And cautious is gonna get you beat.
The defense is
right
not
now.
good enough for you to play cautious.
Right. It's not.
They're wearing down. You can run the ball up the middle. The corners are not playing the ball. They're letting the receivers out jump them. Okay. You gotta. I saw this with the Bears because I'm a Bears fan. I saw this with the Bears game today against Houston. They had them for 2 quarters, 3 quarters to be honest, and then in the 4th quarter, Osweiler woke up and he was able to break 3. Right now, Eli's playing a very controlled, non-bad Eli game.
And you know that's a problem when you allow Eli to
not be stupid.
Exactly. I mean, when he's able to sit back and think and see the field, it's a problem.
Which is what he's been able to do.
And that's championship Eli right there.
And that team is not. That team isn't young. They have some young people on offense, but that team is experienced versus the Cowboys, where the Cowboys are very young. Score. Take the ball. Take the cuss off of Dax now, and don't ask him to throw 30 times this half, because that's what got Romo hurt all these years. But you can go ahead and let him do what he does.
Yes, you can.
You can do that. You know what I'm saying? You can open up a little bit. You can kind of move around.
Because he's comfortable with the chemistry between Dez and Witten. He's comfortable with him.
Right.
If he's comfortable with him, and just by seeing the way he's playing and managing the game, I would have to let him do more.
Exactly. So, but all right, guys, it's about to be. They're gonna do the news update, and then they're gonna show the game. So, the rest of the game. So, do you have anything to add?
Hey, I don't, guys. Come check it out. The Rant Sports and Fitness, guys. And post blogs up, do what you can do, and we'll chit chat.
All right, people, put some Wild Black out. This will be up. We'll finish after the game. We'll give you a good 10-15 minutes of our thoughts after the game, and then this will be up later on tonight. So see you guys at halftime.
Hey, and guys, by the way, saw Pierre-Paul's hand. I'm proud of him for being able to get out there and play. But guys, be careful with fireworks, y'all.
Fireworks are bad.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Fireworks are bad. All right, people.
But they're fun. I do it. But you gotta have some knowledge of fireworks and know how to use them. Because we pop fireworks a lot. So yeah, just know what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. Keep hope alive.
All right, people. See you guys at halftime. Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey, what's up, man? Minyon at the Rant Sports and Fitness.
And Pushing Wild Black Vlogs.
Oh, my goodness, guys. I don't know where to begin.
So, if you were paying attention to what just happened, it's 2-minute drill, and the last play was Terrence Williams getting the ball and didn't go out of bounds.
Yeah, we lost our IQ for a second. We lost our football IQ, and we figured that we were running the 40-yard dash to the end zone. Well, Terrence, unfortunately, that didn't happen. We decided to fall, get tackled with seconds on the clock instead of putting our football IQ into play and basically being effectively ineffective the entire game. That was great.
You're gonna hear
that's what I've been seeing.
You're gonna hear that effectively ineffective a lot this season.
Those are the words I love to use. when it describes these guys, man, is that just the entire game was done conservatively, which I can understand to a certain point because you've got Elliott and you've got Dak who's fresh, and he's got to learn the system. But at the same time, though, how conservative do you have to play in order to win the game? Like, guys, you can't be conservative the entire game. You have to open it up. You're playing conservative. You're playing
what made everybody fall in love with him and made the Cowboys, everybody in the organization seem like we have a competent backup quarterback. Or what's making a lot of people say now that Romo, like the era of Romo is over, is Dak's arm and his ability to run and his connection with him and Dez. We didn't see that today. It was a very scaled back offensive effort. It was a very scaled back playbook. There were some things that I saw that we talked about during halftime that actually worked out a lot, as far as Ezekiel Elliott did his best work in space. Ezekiel Elliott also did his best work, even if it was in a true, because his first real, his best play was in the shotgun. His second best play was he countered it and he went opposite field and he was able to work in space.
Right.
Alfred Morris was the guy that, okay, we're going to give you the ball and you're going to run up the middle and boom.
That's his comfort zone, is ground and pound for Alfred Morris. That's what I would say. After looking at this game, that's where he's comfortable.
But they tried to make Ezekiel Elliott that way, and it just didn't seem to work here. So it seemed to work better if he's, out in the backfield, if he's in space and he's able to move around. Now,
right.
That's what I got from the situation, and I feel like that's how they need to use him. I understand the conservative play calling, but see, here's the thing. And we mentioned it for halftime. We mentioned it during the halftime one. The defense isn't that good.
No, the secondary what the problem is with the secondary is that they don't cover well, and a lot of times when you, as a defensive back, you kind of look at things in a different way than your defensive line. They were letting everything get behind them, and pretty much it was also getting behind them, and it was in front of them. So the problem was they weren't playing the ball well,
mm-hmm.
And when you don't play the ball well, you get eaten up. And with a guy, when you're playing against Eli Manning, you can't let him do surgery on you like that, because that's his comfort zone.
Yeah.
They were letting Eli Manning stay in the pocket way too long. They got to him that one time on that sack, but look how many seconds it took for them to get back there. And then look at the game.
And then he was taking off, and he wasn't running, but he was kind of doing bootlegs.
Right.
Look, he's not. He's more mobile than Peyton, but dude, this isn't his dad here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like this isn't Archie, right? He's not.
He's not mobile like that.
You can get him. You can thank you. Yeah, you can catch him. You know what I'm saying? This isn't what it is, man. I'm not gonna say the Cowboys should have won that game, but they were playing scared almost. They were playing.
You know what I will say the Cowboys. I would say if they had it been differently, and I don't want to do hypotheticals, but if they'd have, we talked about it at halftime, if they'd have taken the gloves off Dak earlier on, and just kind of let him
you have to score.
He has to get his feet wet.
You have to score.
He has to get his feet wet in these games, and really, there's no reason why Dez Bryant got one touch.
thrown to 4 times,
Four
one
times,
catch.
one catch.
Or 5 times, one catch.
There's no reason.
Like, what are you doing?
Beasley was his go-to guy.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
Why is it scary? Because Beasley, and I'm not saying Beasley's a bad receiver, but Beasley goes through stretches where he doesn't catch well.
Right. And he doesn't protect the ball.
We saw a couple of times where he didn't catch well. You just mentioned it. He doesn't protect the ball well. There were several times where he caught the ball and he had the ball like both hands though, but he had the ball out. Right. Now, as a Bear fan, I watched Lovie Smith and Charles Peanut Tillman was a master at this. You learn the punch ball technique where you knock the ball out of hands, you knock the ball out the way. You punch the ball out the way. That technique is not being used by a lot of people.
Right.
But, like, if you have somebody that knows how to do that well,
correct,
you can draw the ball out of Beasley's hands. His ball protection is not good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he tried to kind of get the ball. It seemed like it was slot receiver, tight end. The tight ends and the slot receivers got all the work.
Right. And Dallas the middle.
You cannot do that.
Right. The middle of the field is where we're getting torched. And pretty much the running
You mean defensively?
Yeah, defensively. I mean
it's
just
because if you're watching, if the rest of the league watch this game as a guide to how to beat them defensively, run up the middle.
Run up the middle. And especially, and I'm gonna say this, with all the suspensions, what we saw tonight was the suspensions.
Was lack of depth.
Yeah, lack of depth, everything, man. It was one of those things to where it was like, okay, what are we watching? Is this the preseason? Is this the preseason of the regular season?
You had Jenkins running up the middle. You had the other for Vereen, he was running up the middle.
Yeah, he was running up the middle.
Like if they needed to play, all they needed to do was run up the middle.
And really, guys, if you guys
and the what you call him, Victor Austin?
Victor Austin, yeah. I call Victor Cruz Victor Austin because he reminds me of Miles Austin because he can't keep his hamstrings healthy. So that Victor Austin, that's it.
Right.
I wasn't happy to see his dance, by the way. That was very hurtful.
No, not at all. But I mean, like that pass play was untouched up the middle. Like that play was in the middle, slot receiver, untouched.
Right.
Like you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't. Like, come on, man. It sounds like I'm a fan here, but it's just when you analyze this game, that's all you got to do to beat them.
Right. And if they're not gonna, especially this, if you're not gonna let Prescott be Prescott and throw the ball down the field and get Dez involved, or Dez is your best offensive player. Right.
If you're gonna be like, well, man, I don't wanna ask Dax to, because my criticism of Jason Garrett over the years has been you're relying on Tony Romo to win you the football game, and that's what got what constantly gets Tony Romo hurt, because you're relying on him to do too much. And I respect the fact that now they're playing it safe and they know that, okay, like, I can't ask this kid to throw the ball 50 times a game, and they're being intelligent with how they're doing things. But at the same time, it's like you gotta,
being too safe will get you
gotta,
hurt too.
Right, you gotta at least let the reins loose.
Yeah,
like they were really safe.
Game.
They were really safe. And by being really safe, if you're not gonna let Dez, like, if you're not gonna put Dez in the slot, if you're not gonna put Dez as like a third tight end and run a 3 tight end set, or do something where he's involved, if you're gonna let him play safe, then you need to move Dez around. You know what I'm saying? Which they didn't do. Like, that's your best weapon. Dez Bryant is your best weapon.
Yeah, and we know Dez demands double coverage. It's gonna. The way that you have to play Dez is you have to open up the field for him. Mm-hmm. With him being double covered the way he is, but he knows as a player that he demands attention. So he knows that either, okay, if I'm double covered, well, the fallout guys are going to be Witten, Terrence Williams, and a couple other guys. So, I mean, really, can you open it up for Dez to get open? Yeah, you can. You just have to strategically get him the ball somehow. I mean, he has to touch the ball. He is a receiver. He is a demanding receiver that has to touch the ball. He should be touching the ball at least 10 times a game, in my opinion.
Right.
In my opinion. If you're going to throw that ball, he needs at least 10.
Figure out. I'm not saying turn him into a running back, but if you're gonna put the golden handcuffs on this kid, make sure he's the best weapon that you have.
And make sure that he knows Dez Bryant is his number one receiver.
Right.
He has to know that's his number one.
Like, again, we like Cole Beasley.
Right.
But there's flaws
right
in the way he does things.
It's hit and miss at times. And I know this is a fresh season.
And what I don't want to happen, because Tony Romo is going to be out at least until the bye week, and then he's gonna.
They're saying 8 weeks, guys. But honestly, I just, in my heart to heart opinion, I don't think he needs to come back in 8 weeks. I think because you all know that it's too risky. I mean, he's had back issues before.
Yeah, and then they were saying before the season that they might put a vest on him. To make sure he doesn't. Because he has that rod where his collarbone is, and then that was supposed to stop the injury, and then he got injured in another thing. So now they're just gonna put him in a Kevlar vest, to where he can take hits. And it's like, look, I know that in Tony we trust. I get it, but he's gonna be out at least until after the bye week, and then when Philly's gonna come in and he's gonna play. His comeback is going to be the Philly game. You can't go. They're 0-1 now. You can't wait for Tony to come back and try to win. You got to open up. You got to take the handcuff. You got to loosen the handcuffs off this kid.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to.
You got to figure out ways. Because you got to figure out ways to win with this rookie. And what they're doing now. They made adjustments to the running game because they stopped asking Ezekiel Elliott to go up the middle because that's not what he's good at right now.
Right, exactly.
He's good at in space, right?
Now, I'm not saying that against this team, because you have to scheme every game, against this team, he's not good running up the middle.
Because they stopped him right away.
Right. So the Giants aren't going to let him run up the middle. Maybe that'll work down the line sometime. Mm-hmm. But he is an outside, toss me the ball, give me a counter play type back.
From what we saw today.
Yeah, from what we saw today. And hey, even put him underneath and toss him the ball.
What did I say when we were watching the game, dude? If they use him like Reggie Bush, remember how USC used Reggie Bush, and remember Reggie Bush's best seasons with New Orleans, where he was just basically a weapon.
Yeah, he was a scat back.
They put him, and I'm not calling, because the term scat back can kind of be offensive to a guy like him because he's big and stuff, but they keyed in on him very quickly,
right?
And it didn't seem like he was breaking through, and it just seemed like if they use him right now, like they use Reggie Bush, I think you'll see breakout games from him. If you're gonna
they could use him like Bush, but he's not as fast as Reggie Bush was. That's the problem. He's fast, but he's not as fast as him.
But I'm talking about as comfort level goes.
Oh, it's
as a comfort.
There's potential to play, yeah.
Yeah, comfort, because Alfred Morris proved to me that that's the dude that you use if you just want to ground and pound on.
Right.
With that offensive line, you can do good things with And then Dunbar had a couple good plays in there. But Alfred Morris, to me, that's the ground to pound guy. Ezekiel Elliott can be used as a weapon. He can counter plays, maybe catch out the backfield, and
definitely hit some end arounds.
You know what I'm saying? Like in space. I just noticed that in space he played a lot better. And Alfred Morris right up the middle. Hey, we need 3, we need 4 yards. Just give it to Morris and let's go. Right? Like, I don't think that's a bad, especially now. Especially considering you got weapons on this team offensively, and it's not Beasley. It's not. I like Beasley. He's shown me today, emphasis on today, that he can catch. He showed me today that he can hold on to the ball. He didn't show me that he knows how to take care of the ball because he puts the ball out there a lot today.
Yes.
Put the ball.
He aims it out
at least 4 times today. I saw him just here's the ball.
He doesn't cover well, and that's what scares me a little bit.
Right, and when he has the ball under his arm, it's kind of
outside versus it's inside.
Out. It ain't like a baby. It's like it's just hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing like I'm doing the arm motions now. Y'all can't see that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Like he doesn't hold it like a baby. He holds it kind of just willy-nilly out there, from what I saw.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want him to, because there's no reason Beasley can't be the next Wes Welker or the Cowboys version of Wes Welker. But there's too many things that I saw last year, and there's a couple things that I'm seeing today where it's like, all right, I'm not really feeling safe with you being the main dude.
Right.
And if that's what your offense is going to look like,
it's not time for him to be the main guy.
If that's what your offense is going to look like, be prepared for a very, very long season until Romo gets back.
Right. It's just time. I mean, I think this game is a good evaluation. I think that what they can do is this week, I'm going to use the word that Jason Garrett loves to use.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's a process. We'll review tape and we'll see where we can go from here. No, but guys, seriously, I think this is an evaluation that we can see what needs to be changed as far as offense, and we obviously know defensively, guys. It's the secondary, and plus on top of that, it's those suspensions. Until those suspensions get taken care of and everybody's off, I think we're gonna have some rough patches on defense.
You gotta. This isn't the Cardinals. This isn't the Vikings. This isn't the you cannot have, because Dak isn't a mediocre quarterback. He's a rookie,
right?
But talent wise, he's not mediocre. Okay,
and you know what? He's a brain. I like the one of the reasons I like Dak. And I'm not, like I told you guys before on the rant, is that I'm not sold by the Cowboys, and I keep telling you that, and I'm a diehard fan, but I'm not sold with their winning ability right now. But I will tell you this about Dak, and I didn't want to speak anything on it, and I told Chris about it earlier, is that, you know, I'm really picky when it comes to just athletes. I don't get very impressed by certain things that they do. I just have to kind of watch and evaluate over time as far as, you know, what they can and can't do, and then I measure that. But as far as I can tell from this game, Dak isn't oblivious to the game. He's not going to make bonehead mistakes.
It's not like okay. I'll give a perfect example. Wentz is the problem. From what I watched today, because I watched the early games today, and I was telling Minyon, Philly's gonna be something. Philly's gonna be something. They hit hard, they rush the passer, you know, and Carson Wentz is competent, and he can actually throw, and he actually knows what he's doing. I watched RG3 look lost today.
Oh, and by the way, he's out with a sprained shoulder, guys.
Nice. Didn't even last one game. Good job. Good job, Cleveland. good job, Cleveland.
I tell you,
we totally, like, We're not even gonna try to get number one. We're not even gonna try to draft a quarterback. We're not even gonna try to draft up to get number one or number two, quarterback or whatever. RG3 we trust. There it is.
That's it.
Josh McCown. Come on, Josh. Let's get that money.
Stamp of approval. RG3 is the man for Cleveland. He's gonna get it done.
But what I was saying is, I look at Wentz, and Wentz is an NFL quarterback. He'll be fine. Okay. Jared Goff is third string quarterback. Okay.
Yeah,
Wentz
his label is third string.
Wentz is a quarterback. Goff, I don't know yet. Dax
I think Goff needs to be in a different system. I don't think that system works for him.
Really?
No, I just think he needs to be in a different system.
I think that Prescott is quarterback.
Yeah, Prescott is a quarterback.
It's not. I'm scared.
Right.
He's not scared.
No, he's not afraid of it. He's not afraid, and that's what I like about it.
And we noticed this in the preseason. He's not scared. Like, people was noticing that Goff was kind of like, all right, he's not really ready in the preseason. Prescott ain't a bust, man. No. He's young. Develop him, which is why Dallas and Cowboys in the city is, they're excited, because now you don't have let's get a dude off the street and let's throw him in with six days of work, with 6 days of prep like they did last year, or let's get an old QB that Jerry likes that really shouldn't be, your backup, that really doesn't have an arm. That was the only reason that he was really important was because he had a really good receiver.
And one thing I'll say about Dak too is that if you followed him in college, he was a great college player. He was really good, and I'll say this: his style of play. Now I know it's early, but I saw flashes of it. His style of play, even though he's really young. I don't know what quarterbacks he grew up watching that personally touched him and, helped inspire him to get to where he is. But his style of play reminds me of Warren Moon. And when I was watching him
today,
yeah, and throughout his college career too, throughout his college career and throughout the preseason, and even with this game, man, I saw some flashes of Warren Moon to a certain degree. I'm not saying he's not going to.
But one of the things that now there was a couple of times where he did run a little bit. You kind of compared him while we were watching the game to a smaller Cam Newton.
Yeah,
he's not as big, and I don't want them to use him as Cam Newton. Because Cam Newton is basically when it's the red zone, they're like, okay, you're gonna be a running back now.
Right.
I don't want him to do that. I don't want the Cowboys to do that, but I do want Dak to move around a little bit. And I think with a lot of mobile quarterbacks, there's a tendency, and I saw this with RG3 earlier today. There's a tendency to just let's make him a pocket passer and let's take the legs away from him. You don't have to do that with this kid. You can kind of move him around a little bit.
Right.
And you kind of move him around, not just on a bootleg and to get space.
Yeah.
I think if you have him watch Russell Wilson to where, okay, I can run, but I'm not going to use my legs as to get me touchdowns. I'm going to run to get away.
Right.
I'm going to run to get away. I'm going to run if I have to. If the play breaks down, take off running.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what I don't want to happen is I don't want them to be like, okay, we can't really, he can run, but we don't want to hurt him. Or they don't turn him into Cam Newton.
Right.
Because he's not as big as Cam.
He's not as big as Cam.
But don't turn him into okay, we got to make sure that he doesn't run to where he's basically RG3 now, to where, okay, he can't really move.
Right.
Or we don't want him to move.
You want him to have that. You want Dak to have that healthy balance.
Yeah. Just we know he can run, mm-hmm. but let's not use it to. Let's not turn him into Vic, or let's not turn him into early RG3 where we rely on his legs too much.
Right.
but don't turn him into don't turn him into Cam. It's like, or don't turn him in a situation where he can't move, and then it's like half of his game is not there.
Right, because he's comfortable. He's comfortable in the pocket. He's comfortable.
Right.
You know.
When he played for Mississippi, he ran a lot.
Yes, he did.
There was a lot of running touchdowns for him.
Mm-hmm.
So there was actually, because people were like, I don't know if he can actually throw, because most of his touchdowns were on the ground. He can throw. The moment is not too big for him. He can actually do some stuff. And I want them to be like, okay, there are things that because he's not, look at all the backup quarterbacks they've had. Is this the best backup quarterbacks the Cowboys have had in a while?
Yes.
Since Romo.
Yes.
Because remember, Romo was backup QB too. Mm-hmm. And Romo won the job from Drew Bledsoe. Right? So, yeah.
I think that's the best we've got. You know, and that's not when I say I think that's the best we've got, I'm just saying not to be, you know, mean or sound harsh or anything, but he's a heck of a player, man, and I think that if he stays in this system, he can do something for the Cowboys. I really do. It's not a Quincy Carter, it's not Anthony Wright, it's not none of those guys. And you know what I'm talking about.
It's not where you look at him and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? And the one thing about it, too, he does throw a tight spiral. And that's what I like.
And we had quarterbacks that didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, Anthony Wright and Quincy Carter would throw ducks. You know, they had wings on the ball. I just sit and watch. And I'm like, how does a ball grow wings? Like, you know, but I mean, at the same time, though, Dallas, they're in a good position right now. They just have to turn it around and good position. As far as the winning board, no, because we lost. But at the same time, we saw what we need to correct and we have to
open up the playbook.
And we have to use our
open up the playbook.
Yeah, exactly. Open up the playbook
because
and use our football IQ.
Your defense isn't.
Right.
Your defense isn't, and you got a second wide receiver that sucks. Like, I'm sorry, Terrence Williams. People make fun of Terrence Williams, but dude, understand the situation. You got 12. That play was ran with 12 seconds on the clock, and you have no timeouts.
Right.
And I don't know if this is a coaching thing because the play wasn't drawn out as an out-of-bounds play, and you know what I'm talking about? Like, you know how a play can be drawn out specifically to be...
Goes towards the sideline.
A sideline play. That wasn't a sideline play. If you know the ball is coming to you because you're open, and there's a reason why you're open, get out of bounds.
Because you had time.
Because you got... The play was snapped with 12 seconds left. You had about a good 7 seconds when you caught the ball. You had about a good 7 or 6 seconds left on the clock. Get out of bounds. Because Bailey, all you needed to do was get Bailey in range and the game is over.
Yeah. I mean, you
and
saw
Bailey was in.
Bailey's good from 56.
Right.
Maybe even further.
Like get him in bounds. Get him set up and the game is over. You know, Dak is a hero.
Right.
And you're fine. But instead, the ball comes to you. You don't know what to do, and then you get tackled, and you can't. And then everybody, and what I've noticed too is it's 2-minute drill, and this wasn't the last play of the game, but I noticed this before. You're running a 2-minute drill, but there's no urgency to run to get set up. I noticed that before.
Right. There's no sense
of urgency at all.
It was bad clock management. If you guys noticed, all 3 timeouts were gone.
Mm-hmm.
Which we
didn't even know. Like, I'm like, they gotta have 2 timeouts left. And then when they took that last one, it was like, wait a minute, they don't have one. What happened?
Exactly.
Like, we lost the timeout there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we sure did. And it just, to me, it was more or less of, okay, this is and I don't want to make excuses, but I have to give them the benefit of the doubt sometimes that we have new people on the team and. They're just, I don't think they were ready. And I mean, from the preseason on, that's why I wasn't impressed, guys, with what they were doing, because I said on the rant, wait till everything starts to change when people start scheming.
And I think when me and you were talking about this, like, because we did I didn't end up putting it up, but we did it like while we were playing Madden, we did like a preseason one, and I would ask you every week, like, what do you think? And he's like, and you were like, I don't know yet. It's too early. I don't know yet. And you kept saying, I'm not impressed with what I saw. And today you said at least 3 times, I'm not impressed yet.
Right. I mean, it's nothing for me to, jump up and just be happy about. I mean, this game was.
I mean, there were good things.
Yeah, there were good flashes.
Most noticeably, Dax is not an idiot.
Right. But still, I'm uncertain.
Yeah.
I'm uncertain. I don't know.
But it's more. This is more of a going back to my issues of last year, not necessarily scheme, but coaching.
Right.
This is a coaching problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like clock management, that's a problem. That's a coaching problem. The quarterback did fine. The quarterback did what he was supposed to do. Okay, you got Ezekiel Elliott. You really didn't know how to use him the majority of the game. You don't want to throw to Dez at all. Like, I don't understand why and I can understand it because they showed a picture of him sitting on the sidelines mad.
Yes.
And I can understand he's the best player you have.
Right.
He's the best wide receiver. And again, I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I'm not a dumb football person either. He's the best weapon you have. Get him involved.
You have to, and you have to get him. You can't get Dez involved late. You got to get him involved early.
Right.
You get him involved early, then you get
if you have
momentum.
A decision, and I said this, and you don't need to do this because Dak has a better arm than Castle does.
Yes.
Or Brandon Whedon does.
That's it.
Because last year what they did, which infuriated both of us, just because we're smart football fans. Like, you have a guy that is the best talent you have, and is big, and move him around. Like, move Dez Bryant around. If you don't have a quarterback that can stretch the field, or if you don't have a quarterback that can make certain throws, like they didn't have last year, move him around. Like,
yeah,
that can throw the deep ball. We've seen it in preseason.
Yes, he can throw the deep, and he's comfortable doing it.
Why are you not letting him do that? Why is it that he only had a couple of deep balls the whole game?
You know what? It was, like I said, it goes back to playing conservative, and it was one of those things to where they probably prepared him for conservative play. They didn't. I don't believe that they said, "Hey, Dak, we're gonna let you do what you do, and just stretch the field and get your feet wet." But that's what they need to do. Out of this game, from what I saw, they need to let Dak get his feet wet and spread the field, get some touches to Dez.
They need to get they need to get him comfortable for 2 reasons. One, Romo is not going to be ready feasibly until week 8, until after the bye week. That's number 1.
And get him a legit second receiver.
Number two.
Please get him a legit second receiver.
Number 2. We don't know how long Romo has left.
All right.
Come on, Minyon. Let's be honest. We don't know how long he got left.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I personally.
I mean, he can finish out the season, but do you want him to play? How old is he now? 30?
I think he's 37 now.
37. Okay. Do you really want him to play for 3 more years? I know cats play when they're 40, but with Romo, do you really want him to play anymore?
I mean, like you said,
does he have
what you just said. People do it. Brett Favre did it. Came back from that injury.
Yeah, but
Peyton did it.
But Peyton really?
Actually, no, he didn't. Wait, how old was Peyton? Peyton was, how old was he when he retired?
Like close to 40.
Close to 4. Okay. Well, I mean, looking at the way Romo is breaking down.
Do you really think that he has 2 or 3 more seasons? Well, like 1 or 2 more seasons?
Physically, no.
Physically, no. So We know that this kid has the intangibles and the talent to be the heir apparent to Romo. We know this.
Or better.
Exactly. Or better. He could
Better
be.
than Romo.
He could be better than Romo.
Yeah. But then you know
you got Dez Bryant, and Dez Bryant is how old is Dez, man? Because he has to be in it.
He's approaching. Should be approaching 30.
Okay.
He should be close to.
So he's like so this is kind of like toward the end of his prime, dude. Like you have a guy like Dez that he could still go up and get we saw him in preseason. He was going up and getting balls.
Right.
Let's see, unlock the kid for a minute.
Guys, we have to get a. You know what? I know it's.
And this is gonna sound mean what you're about to say because of what happened.
Right.
But say what you gotta say.
We have to. We have to really focus on what's the goal. Because right now, from what I've seen, we don't know what the goal is. And it's almost like after this game, they don't know what the goal is.
What's the philosophy?
Are we
treading water until Romo comes back because Romo is going to be the savior? Or are we going to really develop this kid? Because in Philly, they're just, all right, kid, all right, Wentz, all right, Carson, let's go. It's your squad now. Whereas in Los Angeles, Jeff Fisher's like, I ain't got the patience to deal with a bad Jared Goff. I don't want to be 7-9 anymore. Right. So Jared's going to be third string quarterback, and there it is. Jared's going to be third string quarterback, and if you improve, fine. If you don't, I don't care. You know, what are the Cowboys doing? Because if this is the heir apparent, then you release the hounds. If this isn't the heir apparent, and you think that Romo's gonna come back in week 8 or after the bye week,
unrusty,
and then
unrusty,
and then we're gonna hope that we're gonna maybe he's gonna run a scaled down version of the offense. We maybe can win 3 games out the deal, go 3-5, and then Romo's gonna come back, and then we march in the playoffs. That's a bad decision. That's a bad philosophy to go to. Now, if you're thinking, okay, let's see what this young man can do. Let's open up the playbook a little bit, and let's just see what happens. And then if Romo comes back, and then he finishes out the season, and then Dax knows the entire playbook and is able to do what he does. And then when Romo retires, all right, kid,
Dax, it's time for you to step up.
But philosophically, if all they're going to do is we're going to play this scaled down version of our offense and let Romo save us when he comes back, like, that's not wise.
In my opinion, I think what needs to happen is obviously we know Romo's back issues and all the other issues he's had. I mean, if he's got a back issue right now, sit him out, let Dak play the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Just let him play the rest of the season.
And if he's going to play the rest of the season, open up playbook.
That's it.
Open up playbook, change your philosophy. And he might do now. When I say open up the playbook, this does not mean Jason Garrett and the offense coordinators say, okay, we're going to throw the ball 50. You can call your own plays. Yeah. You can call out of run plays.
We're not giving you the key to the city.
You can throw the ball 50 times a game,
right,
and it turns into another Romo situation.
Right. Yeah.
But know that this young man can throw down the field.
Yes, he can.
Let him in.
And he's comfortable with the short passes.
Right.
He's comfortable with that. And that's something that you know our other quarterbacks aren't comfortable doing. They're not good at throwing the ball downfield. Except for Wheaton.
Well, they can't though.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just their vision is different.
Like Wheaton's arm wasn't good, and Castle's inconsistent, and he's been inconsistent. He had some decent seasons in Kansas.
He should have stayed in New England.
But his best season was with New England.
Yeah.
Like we've seen him play. We know what he can do. We know.
But he's one of those quarterbacks that has to have everything going
perfectly in order to do anything.
Yeah, it has to be perfect.
And now you don't have that with Dak now.
Right.
So it's like, to me, it just seemed like, I think I mentioned while we were watching the game, they were playing not to lose.
Right, they were playing really, really.
They're playing not to lose, and you can't. Not in this division.
Yeah, you got to open it up.
Not in this division.
You got to open it up, guys.
Not in the Giants are the only team where you're going to be able to do that.
Right.
You're not going to be able to do that with Philly. You're not going to be able to do that with Washington. You might be able to do that with Washington because what's the dude's name? What's his name?
Which one? The
quarterback from Washington. Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to do that with Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins can throw you out of a game.
Right.
Kirk Cousins can throw you in a game, and Kirk Cousins can throw you out of the game in the same game. Right. So you might be able to do that stuff with Washington just because Kirk is so random.
You don't know what he's gonna do.
Right.
You can't figure him out.
Right. We've seen Kirk Cousins throw you out of a game and then throw you way back in the game.
And then you'll see Kirk Cousins throw for 25 yards in the first half, then turn around and throw for 300
yards
in the second half.
And then he's like, wait a minute, what? But you forgot about the first half where he couldn't do anything right. You can't. And Philly is one game, and it's against Cleveland, so take that for a grain of salt. But I like what Philly was doing. I really do. Darren Sproles seems to be comfortable now because it seemed to be
Hasn't he always been comfortable?
Yeah, but he got a lot of carries, man, and he just seemed like, okay, this is life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this division is not. You can't play safe in this division. You can't. They're out of division. Get beat. They're out of division games. Who they got game 2, dude?
Let me look that up, man.
All right, you said they got the Redskins, right?
Yeah, they got the Redskins, man. And we'll see what
happens.
You're
not gonna be able to. You're not gonna because they're not gonna be they're not gonna be cautious.
No, right.
Because Kirk Cousins feeling himself. Kirk Cousins is like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
He's like, yeah. And then we have your Bears too.
And but okay, here's with the Bears. And here's what I saw today with the Bears. The Bears, they're playing real consistent because I call that fool Roma. Because Jay Cutler, they don't want Jay Cutler to throw them out of a game. Because Jay Cutler throws them out of the game. Mm-hmm. And Jay Cutler threw an interception today. But it really wasn't Jay Cutler's fault. It was the receiver's fault. It was Kevin White's fault. They know what they want to do. They want to run the ball. They want to control the ball. They want to run the clock. They want to do what they do. You know what I'm saying? That's a young team. That's a young team with a young defense, and they're not very deep. Same thing that I'm seeing with the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna have to beat the Bears offensively. You can do it because they don't really have weapons to outgun you.
Right.
But they have a defense that, if you're not careful, will hold you for 3 quarters. Because they held Houston for 3 quarters. You gotta outgun them. You're gonna have to outgun Washington, and you're gonna have to outgun the Bears. Because if we're going strictly by defenses, especially what I saw today, if I'm John Fox, all I'm doing is I'm sending Jeremy Langford up the middle all game. Because they couldn't do anything. Cowboys could not do anything to the Giants running backs up the middle.
No, they couldn't. We're just gonna have to see within. I don't know how long each suspension is, but
and I don't know if that's a linebacker thing or a safety thing, but it just wasn't.
Oh, dude, it's everything, man. Like it's a total package on that defensive side of the ball.
Wow.
They they are bad right now. Defensively, they are bad. I mean, you saw it. It was like them, just like the Hindenburg. It burned. Just defense just burned
and
down to the ground.
To beat the Bears, the easiest way to beat the Bears is throw the ball down the field. Like if Dez Bryant, I'm gonna tell
that
you,
would require us to stretch.
I'm gonna tell you this: if Dez Bryant doesn't have a career day against our secondary, then Jason Garrett's an idiot. Real talk. And this is coming from a Bears fan. From a diehard Bears fan that'll probably have money on the game. The easiest way to beat the Bears, because that's what, when Brock Osweiler decided to show up for the game today, when he decided to show up in the fourth quarter, that's all they had to do. All they had to do was stretch the field on us.
Yeah.
Because and I'm not saying they're bad. We don't have bad secondary. They're just young.
Yeah.
We got rookies and second-year players.
Right.
Like, if Dez Bryant doesn't put up Calvin Johnson numbers in week 3, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you.
They're gonna have to let him.
They have to let Dak throw the ball down the field. You're gonna have to do that. This whole because if you're trying to do like Dinky Doink and you're trying to get Beasley and win like career days, even young defenses are gonna hold you for 3 quarters.
Yes.
And
Indeed.
then experience is gonna take over. Which is what happened today. Cowboys shouldn't have lost that game today.
No.
It shouldn't have happened.
No.
They're better.
The score was too close.
Right.
And then the score was too close, but somehow miraculously they
figured out a way not to win the game.
Not to win the game. They figured out a way to lose. And that and I can't blame everything on Terrence Williams.
Because quite honestly, it shouldn't have been that.
It shouldn't have been down to Terrence Williams running out of bounds, trying to get, stop the clock and all that stuff. But however, that I can't let him get by with that, because that could hurt us in the long run if we ever make a serious run in the playoffs or whatever it may be. That could hurt us. And that's simple football IQ.
Right.
How much time is on the clock. That's the kicker, man. I'm looking forward to this week though, because this week will be, a lot of interesting conversations about what everybody thinks they should have done and things like that. And I definitely want to hear from Jason.
It's going to be an interesting. The sky isn't falling. They just didn't close.
Right, they didn't close.
And
the same thing. They're in Carolina's position right now, because Carolina's 0-1. So it's going to take some time for us to get on the wagon.
Like this isn't like I watch as a Bears fan. I watch and I'm an optimist when it comes to the Bears. As a Bears fan, I remember tweeting, I was like, the defense will be fine, but you got to score. Like, this defense isn't good enough for you not to score. The Cowboys' defense isn't good enough for you to not score.
Right.
Okay? The sky isn't fall. This isn't like, okay, you're watching Castle and you're like, what do we do? Like, or you're watching the game and Whedon's in the backfield, Whedon's under center, and it's like, this dude cannot complete passes. This dude he doesn't know what to do. This isn't one of those situations. Or this isn't one of those situations where Jason Garrett's trying to be like Mike Marks and he's like, I'm gonna create the greatest show on turf again.
Right.
This isn't one of them situations. So if you're a Cowboy fan, this wasn't a bad game. It was just a lot of little things that you saw that could easily be corrected.
Right.
And everything will be fine.
Right.
If
things that could become big things.
If they want to correct them.
Yes.
Open up the field a little bit. Use Ezekiel Elliott around the field.
Right.
If you don't want to open up the playbook and let this kid throw the ball down the field because you're afraid he's either going to get hurt because you know how you like to be, or you're afraid he's going to throw picks, which I haven't shown I haven't seen evidence that he throws crazy amounts of picks.
That's why it's hard for me to be sold on the Cowboys, guys. Even though, like I told you before, bleed blue and silver, but I just think that, at this point, it has to be. Right now they're playing self-paced.
Yeah.
They're playing self-paced football, and really
when you don't have to.
You don't really
offensively. You don't have to.
Right.
With the Bears, they have to play a certain way. They have to, because they don't have the line. They don't have the line. They got a rookie wide receiver. They got another wide receiver in Alshon Jeffrey. Although he's good, to me, there were moments watching that game today where I'm like, this is why you're not a number one receiver.
Right.
This is why they're not paying you like you want to get paid.
Right.
This is not a problem in Dallas.
Right.
Okay? I've yet to see issues with Dak Prescott. Just open up a little bit.
Yeah. Let him get his feet
let him
Let him stretch his arm out a little bit.
You're gonna have to have a 300 or 200 yard game with this young man.
He has to.
You have to.
Because for one, you don't have right now. You don't have. We don't have the kind of offense that can control a game by running the ball. Wishful thinking.
Not yet.
It's just not there yet.
The building blocks are there, but you got to figure out how to use Zeke to where because that's the running back of the future. You just got to figure out how to use him right. Because right now, him being a ground and pound running back, I don't see that.
No.
I see him running in space a lot.
Right.
And I see Alfred Morris running.
Now, what I will say is that the holes weren't getting open for him as they should have been. It was more like the pass blocking was better than the run blocking.
Right.
So I think him shooting the A gap and the B gap wasn't effective because they just weren't opening that hole up, opening up that gap. And you saw like that one part where they popped the fullback. I thought that was brilliant because I haven't seen that in forever.
Where the fullback got the first down.
Where the fullback shoots up the center. See, that's the kind of things that the Cowboys, they opened the playbook a tiny bit with that one.
Right. Because
we didn't see that last season. We didn't see a lot of movement with the fullback.
Right.
Which I think was great. Brilliant play call.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. So
on to next week.
So what do you think about, because I didn't get your prediction, so what do you think about next week?
Next week's, well, I would say it's too early to tell, but I can't because we've evaluated this first game. I think they're just going to they need to come out guns blazing, man, from the start to finish. I think they're going to have to come out with an effective passing game and an effective running game. More so passing because
you like that is coming.
Right. It was lack thereof in this game.
Right. And you like that is going to throw the ball.
Right.
You like that himself is going to try to throw the ball, 400 yards.
Yes, but however, we have to be smart about it. Defensively, though, we've got to get it together. And I think if I had to predict the score for next week's game, it'll probably end up being as close as it was to this one. I would say maybe 21-13. 21-13. 21-13 Cowboys. 21-13 That's my prediction. If I had to predict it at this point, 21-13. But that's if, like I said, that's if they come out effective.
Based on I think it'll be a 10. It'll be like a 10-point, because I think it'll be like 23-13. But I think, and it really depends, because if they open up the playbook, the Redskins are even with Cowboys. If they open up the playbook, they're even. So it's hard to tell for me because one, I haven't seen the Redskins play, so I don't really know how Kirk Cousins is going to do this year. But I think it'll also be a close game. I think the Redskins might end up winning that game, just because. And I'm not trying to be a hater, but it's like if you're gonna run this offense, if you're gonna run this hand, you're not gonna be able to beat Washington doing this. If based on what I saw today, they don't want to get Dez involved the way he's normally involved. Based on what I saw today, that's the biggest problem because they adjust the running game.
Yeah. They're gonna. I guarantee you, next week is gonna be a completely different. They're gonna do their best to try to get the ball in Dez Bryant's hands.
If they get the ball in Dez Bryant's hands, then I'll go with your score, 2013 Cowboys. If they play like they play today, and you don't want to get Dez involved, then you gotta do a shootout. It's a 2-score game. They're gonna lose at least by 10. And I say it's a 2-score game, and they're gonna lose by 10, probably because you're gonna have to match what Washington's doing. And they're gonna tell Kirk Cousins to throw the ball all day, and you're gonna have to do that. If they want to play call like they play call today, you're gonna lose that game. Like not handily, but because I don't think they're that awesome, but you're gonna lose that game by at least 2 touchdowns.
Right.
If they get Dez involved, then yeah. If they get Dez involved, then it might be a 1-score game like your game, but it might like your prediction. Or it might be like Bailey might be a hero or something. I don't know. But it all depends on what they decide to do because you got to open up the playbook a little.
Right.
Don't be Mike Martz, but open up the playbook a little bit.
Let's open it up.
Well, we have talked for a little bit over an hour.
Yes, we have.
So, sir, I will see you next week. And this will be on Pushing While Black vlogs and blogs and
the Rant Sports and Fitness.
And see you guys next week.
Hey, talk to you later, guys.
Later. Pushing While Black out.